Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song in these latter days, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just bayan back again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief lesson, pretty much, which came through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit via the live stream last night I was watching with the Elder Menata Zakba. He was bringing out some clips, of various jakes that was popping up to camps this past Saturday. Some more disgruntled than others, but trying to force their way into the courts of the Lord. And you see, what we're witnessing is a rejected portion of our people. You see, Jeremiah 6 coins them as reprobate silver. You see, where they've been rejected, man. And just like in the days of old, during the time of Moses, as we wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, that disobedient generation, wasn't allowed to enter into the Holy Land, man. They weren't allowed to enter into Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's rest. You see? And on the contrary, in these latter days, they're not able to come into the courts, the secret places, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in the form of this truth. Okay, where you find comfort in your affliction. You see? And no matter how much they push and pull and try to force their way in, they're not going to be able to come into the courts of the Lord unless they're granted access. You see? So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I just want to, make a point in regards to these individuals, you Jake, trying to force your way into this truth. It's not going to work for you, man. If Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai hasn't called you in to his counsel, you're not going to be able to get in. It's going to be access denied every time, man. You see, so through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, let's start here in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3. And let's see here. In verse 8, and it reads, harden not your hearts, right? And that word heart in the Hebrew is lab, which is your mind, right? And we know Jake as a very hard-headed, stiff-necked people, man. The scriptures go into that with Jake. Jake is very hard-headed. You see? It takes multiple chastisements for Jake to get it. Check this out. Harden not your hearts, as in the provocation, or the provoking, right? And the day of temptation and the wilderness, right? Where we wandered for 40 years, man. Okay? Jake wandered around in circles, man. You see, being simple, right? When your fathers tempted me, right? Proved me and saw my works 40 years, man, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai had all manners of divine power on display. Okay? One major one with him feeding us manna from heaven, man, which is angels' food, man. And as a matter of fact, when you go, we're going to jump back here. When you go to, let's go here real quick. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8. Verse 3 is the point, but I'm going to start at verse 2, and it reads. Now, matter of fact, I got stuff in verse 1 to read down. Deuteronomy 8:1, and it reads, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord Yahweh swear unto your fathers, man. You see, the Holy Land, the land of Canaan, man. Our land. Okay? Check this out. Jerusalem, Israel, man. The Holy Land. Check this out. Deuteronomy 8:2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord Yahweh thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, see, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, right? To know what was in thy mind. See, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And we know we didn't. We know the moral of that story is that we were completely disobedient, okay, to what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai had established, okay, between him and us. Completely disobedient, man. You see? But you had Joshua and Caleb, which had a different spirit in them, man. You see? Which they would be likened unto the elect. Right? Check this out. Deuteronomy 8:3, and it reads, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, right? Which is the angel's food. Okay, which it had an acquired taste for every man's desire, man. You know, but Jake didn't appreciate that. Jake didn't give a damn that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai had water gush out of a rock so they could drink. Jake didn't care. Jake wanted to go back to Egypt. Okay, Jake wanted that probiotic. Jake would have rather be under the yoke of Pharaoh, man, rather than be obedient. Check this out. And fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord Yahweh doeth man live. You see, so this truth, man, this truth is our lifeline. You see? And you got 2/3 of Jake that are standing on the outside looking in. Okay, and they want to come into this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, for all the wrong reasons. You see? And ultimately, they're not going to be let in, okay, because they're not approved. You see, and ultimately, they're the generation of the Lord's wrath, okay, deemed for grievous judgment in these latter days, for all the bloodshed of the prophets that they've committed in the past. You see, being associated with the bloodline, okay, that chose Caesar, okay, that chose Barabbas. You see, this is what we're witnessing, man. Okay, that's why when you go back to Hebrews 8, bear with me. It's Hebrews 3, rather. In verse 10, and it reads, let's blow this up. Wherefore, Hebrews 3:10, and it reads, wherefore I was grieved with that generation. See? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai was grieved with that unbelieving, faithless generation, right? And said, they do always err in their heart, err meaning error, right? In their minds. Remember that word heart in the Hebrews lab, which is your mind, right? And they have not known my ways. Reprobates. See? Always wanting to do contrary. Always wanting to be out of order. Never wanting to come up in the ways of order. See? Check it out. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. You see? The Lord said he swears in his wrath, man. Okay? Because ultimately his wrath is going to rest upon that generation. Let's go here. There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7. I'm going to go straight to the point, right? In verse 29, it reads, cut off thine hair, O Jerusalem. Right, which Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. And cast it away. And take up a lamentation on high places. For the Lord Yahweh hath rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath. You see, which is that disobedient generation that he refuses to allow into that generation he refused to allow into his rest back in the days of old, and now in the form of this truth, which is a comforter. That's why this truth is also called the comforter, man. You see, you can rest if you're comfortable, man. You see, but you got 2/3 of Jake discomforted because they realize that cleaving unto the heathen, specifically in the form of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, it's failing them every time. Okay? They're trying to rest on the bed that's too small for them and trying to cover themselves with covers that's too little for them. See? They're trying to sleep on the bed that's too short. Okay? Or rather, they're trying to sleep on the bed that's too little, and they're trying to cover themselves with covering that's too short. They're not comforted anymore. And now they're looking at this truth like, oh, hey, that might be it. Not realizing that this is not just another phase in black culture, like the beloved elder Arawam says out of Birmingham. This is not something you can just pick and choose. No, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua got to call you into this truth, man. See? You got to get called up in this. This is predestination, man, for those of us that have been called. But as we know, pursuing the Matthew 22:14, many are called, but few are chosen. We're hoping and praying that we're part of the elect, man. The Yahweh Bashim Yahushua keeps us, man. Okay, you 2/3 reprobate, 2/3 so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. You can forget about it, man. You're not going to be able to come into this secret council. Because what it is, it's a secret council in the public. Is what's happening when we go to camp and set up our altars, throughout Babylon. What you're witnessing is a secret council in the public. You see? And 2/3 of you, Jake, okay, are not invited. Let's go ahead. That's why the Spirit's rejecting you. Because your intentions are malicious. The book of Jeremiah, Salakia. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6. And verse 30, and it reads, reprobate silver shall men call them, because the Lord has rejected them. See? And this is talking about 2/3 of Jake. They're calling us that reprobate silver, because ultimately, okay, that reprobate silver, which is likened unto dross, okay, is going to be burnt up and left here, man. You're going to get caught up in the missiles that are coming, Jake. You're going to get caught up in the missiles, man, because you refuse to return, okay? In order, might I add. You see? You refuse to repent. You want to go along to get along, man. Not realizing that you were risking your life choosing a path other than the righteous one, man. See? And ultimately, you're going to end up being fuel for the fire, man. As a matter of fact, let's close out right here. There's the book of Ezekiel. Chapter 22. Let's start at verse 17. It reads, And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. Okay, and when you get this word dross, real quick. Dross, right? Something regarded as worthless. You see, rubbish. Okay? Debris, chaff. Right? Trash, garbage. Okay, this is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is likening Salakia. This is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is likening 2/3 of you Jake as. You see it here in Ezekiel 22. Let's continue on. Ezekiel 22 and 18, and it reads, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross, rubbish, trash. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even the dross of silver. See that reprobate silver, that not approved silver, right? Ezekiel 22 and 19. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, because ye are become dross. Salakia. Behold, therefore, I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. And remember, Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. Because we know we've been gathered here in Babylon the Great. The southern and northern kingdom, okay, are being oppressed together in its totality here in the land of the north, right? As they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you, man. You see? Hey, so 2/3 of you, Jake, the generation of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua's wrath, you're going to be left here in Babylon, okay, and disintegrated, okay? And you're going to have to be born back into the kingdom through the loins of the elect in the eon to come, man. Whenever the Lord desires to send your spirit back within that 3 to 4 generational period, as it's written. Every 3 to 4 generations, man. You see? and at the end of the day, man, hey, you reap what you sow. You see? You reap what you sow, man. You reap what you sow. You are the same generation of the days of old, man, that refused to hearken to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua every time. Okay? That chose not to return. You see, that chose the enemy over Yahweh Shai. You see, that chose a true criminal over Yahweh Shai. See? That have your hands red with the blood of the prophets, man. Hey, these things, hey, the blood, this is going to be required. It's required of you, man. You see? You are now that sacrifice, man. Because you refuse the mediator. You refuse Yahweh Shai. You see? As a matter of fact, let's close out right here. And you refusing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is you refusing the servants, the prophets. Check this out. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 32, and it reads, I sent unto you my servants, the prophets, whom ye have taken and slain, and torn their bodies in pieces, whose blood I will require of your hands, saith the Lord. You see that? So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to require the blood of the prophets that you Jakes were involved in shedding. You were there. Okay, you were there. You said crucify him, crucify him. You're that bloodline that chose that route. You see? So ultimately, hey, now it's time to pay. So yeah, man, hey, you Jay trying to force your way into this truth, you're not going to prevail. You see, you're not going to prevail, man. Why? Because you're not part of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's precious grape cluster, okay? That he preserved, okay, since the foundations of the earth. You're not part of it. You see? You're not part of it, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's got to call you into this thing, man. This is a spiritual gathering, whether you believe it or not. You see, but at the end of the day, when these prophecies insist and things begin to continue to unfold, you're gonna have no choice but to believe, man. Because these prophecies are gonna knock your teeth down your throat. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwath were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halalium La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Shalom.